Yeah.
I wish I knew what the initial stood for. I would have told you. Welcome, everyone. We are live. Live in studio. Back in studio after our last podcast was on Instagram. It wasn't on YouTube even. So we are back in studio and back on YouTube. And we welcome you all back. Basil, you want to log on and see if anyone's on here with us yet? So all right. So, let's do it. Let me go up here as well and see what's going on real quick. You can just keep talking.
Conspiracy. Oh, I shouldn't swear. Where
you can say anything you want.
People in Glendale. How about that conspiracy? They're yet this person in Glendale. I am deep.
I haven't even introduced who's here, and he's off and running. Off and running. All right. Welcome back to Bros and Brews. As you know, I am your primary or one of the primary hosts. My name is Harry, DJ HiFX1Sian. And with me, as always, is my trusted partner, Mr. Ara Basil. I'm going to toss it over to you,
Bros and Brewers. What's going on, everybody?
What's the name of your fans?
Bros and Brewers, baby.
Okay.
Or Brewheads.
Or Brewheads.
Brewhead.
I'm excited about this show because I finally got my boy in the studio. Conspiracy theory master Sam Tripoli here.
Hi, guys. Good to see both of you again. Glad to be here. Where are the homeless people in Glendale?
We got great cops. That's all I got to say.
It's really unbelievable. Armenians don't F around, bro. They didn't play around. Like getting up, take that to Hollywood.
See, here's the thing. This is how you get rid of the homeless in Glendale, okay? Armenians don't give homeless people money. We offer them jobs, and then they turn it away and they move on.
Yeah. It's unbelievable. I love it. We'll get some people here. I mean, let me.
No, they'll be in here in a couple minutes. I mean, this is normally they're waiting with bated breath. I don't know what's going on tonight.
I don't know. How about get into this? I'm driving over here, and we can talk about whatever you guys want. But
sure,
I love to hang out with my kids, and I love listen. When you have children, Christmas is like magical. It's like so much fun. You're like, oh, I'm gonna pay so much money for all this, and it's like Chris Rock's bit. You're like, here we got a gift for you. You mean I paid for this gift, and you're handing it to me. Which is fine. Men love to provide. It's a great thing. But I love Christmas music. I love hanging out with Christmas music. And dude, I'm listening to Mama Got Ran Over by a Reindeer. And I'm sitting down going, do you know how dark this story is?
Absolutely.
This is the darkest story ever. Someone's mom gets shit-faced, wanders outside, and gets ran over by a wild animal. And they're like, and she had a hoof on her face. And everyone's laughing.
Right. Are we talking about the grandma got run over by a reindeer song?
And everyone's like, isn't it a great song? It's so much fun to sing. I know the words. You're like, dude, we're talking about an animal homicide going on here.
Let me throw this on Facebook as well. Let everyone know we're live right now. Right. As the conversation continues. As you guys know, this is a show that is about conversations leading to topics and not the other way around. We never have topics. We just talk off the cuff. And somehow or another, it always becomes interesting. So, and I think tonight it's no exception. As a matter of fact, I think tonight will be one of the most
interesting. Nobody here wants to hear what I have to say. Where are the people in the chat room?
They're coming.
I'm being hot today. I'm bringing heat.
Bringing heat. And it's making us look bad too, as well. Where are brewheads? Brewheads, we're waiting for you.
Maybe they don't want to be called brewheads.
All right, where are our bros and?
How about this? What
should we call our female fans? Bros and
lost.
That's what you get when you have two comedians sitting next to you. Hey, we got three people watching.
All right, welcome three people. Are the leaders of the free world
right now? Yeah, it seems like that's what's going on. You know what, guys? I got a couple things that I think we should be probably talking about. As far as a comedian, who's this Arch? He's not a brewhead. He's a part of the swarm. Okay,
that's Sam's. Here you go, baby.
There you go. So let's have a meeting of the brew heads and the swarm so that, we can make this world a better... Unite. Let's make this world a better place, at least for us, if not anyone else. Sam, as a comedian, how's it feel working in the woke culture? There you go.
Man, it's not easy, dude. It's really hard, actually. It's like I'm blessed to have a following. It's so funny, like during COVID and everything, like I would they would call them suicide runs when I did these gigs. I would go to places. I was one of the few comics that would play comedy clubs. I mean, this is true. I played St. Louis during the height of the day before St. Louis was going to shut down. And the club's like, yeah, we don't serve alcohol drinks. How about waters? Nope, not even waters. I'm like, why am I here? Why? I'm here to sling booze. I'm here to sling food. Why am I here? There's like 9 people here. They can't even drink. What is going on here? But the whole point of that rant is that I'm blessed to have a crowd and following, and they let me go pretty crazy. They know my sense of humor. They know where I'm coming from. But when I leave that and I go, let's say, do like these comedy clubs in LA, which these clubs I've been playing for like decades, and I love them, but it's not their fault. It's like all the outlaws left LA. Yeah. They all left. They all moved out. They moved to Texas and Florida or back home with their families. And what we're left here is with these woke people. Like, I went and voted in the last, I don't really vote, but right. Like local, I vote. And like, I'm hanging out and everyone looks like they're in Scooby-Doo and the gang with like awful sweaters and weird hats, wearing masks still. They're still wearing masks. Yep. And I'm looking for talking dogs and the mystery machine. And it's just like, I can't save you, man. And these people, it's like, it's so funny. I started comedy in, I think, 94.
Right.
I started when I was 22 years old. Okay. And when I would go on the road at first, I would, if you said the word Jesus in some markets, they would get really quiet. And it didn't matter the context of Jesus.
Oh, yeah, the Bible Belt.
Right?
Right.
So you're like, okay, I can't really talk about Jesus, even if it's, and I'm big in Jesus right now. I'm big in, I think he was like a Jedi, like a mystic.
Oh, Jedi.
Like a Luke Skywalker dude,
Right.
So I'm really into that stuff, but you learn less. Okay, don't talk about Jesus here. Well, now it's like flipped, and in Hollywood, you can't say certain words like black, right, trans,
So how would you describe a person of that hue?
Hue. I don't think Hue is allowed.
I would say, imagine everybody that works at Supercuts. That's who's in the crowd. And have you ever gone to Supercuts? I went there one day. Like, I was out of options.
Right.
And I was like, okay, I got to get my hair cut.
Sure.
Oh, the only thing open is Supercuts. And I walk in and it's literally where like Antifa works during the day. That's where their day job is. It's
1 week removed from barber college graduation.
Yeah. Twinks and like cat people. That's right. Who works there. Like, everyone's got pronouns. So that's the crowd. And and it's so funny because, like, let's say you do a joke about, like, the notion is that somehow you're respecting people by not doing jokes about them, right? Which is like, where does that exist, right? Like, in real life, like, the more you're in, the more you get made fun of. Who gets the most shit? Like George Bush, white people, the Kardashians, right? All these like super in people right now, like Madonna and whatever she's going through right now, whatever weird haunted house zombie porn star have you seen her lately? It's like, oh my God. Like,
bro.
Just age gracefully. Yeah. You had a great run. You probably had one of the greatest runs of all time. Chill out.
Top 5 for sure.
Take a day off.
Yeah.
Okay? Stop trying to give people boners. You're scaring people.
Also, what's the deal with people going to comedy clubs to get offended? Don't you go to comedy clubs to laugh? I mean,
that used to be the case, Harry.
But it's the notion that being offended is a felony now. And like, it's the worst thing ever. And it's just losers. So like, let's say, like, I just posted a YouTube video that this funny black ventriloquist put up. It's his black puppet being a black pastor.
William Leonard?
Willie,
No, they're not. Did you?
Willie
you know,
Tyler and Lester is what you're trying to say.
Lester's son books many commercials. I go, oh, Willie's got me have. You know who books a lot of commercials? My old ecstasy dealer, Black Gary, books so many commercials. Like I'm like, oh my God, Black Gary booked again. I'm like, my ecstasy dealer's crushing it right now.
Welcome to Hollywood.
You know, so so it's just super interesting. So like, okay, this is a great example. So I'm doing a joke.
Right.
I'm following. I forget what his name is, but his brother's gay. And
Can we say gay?
yeah, we can say gay because they're gay.
Gay is accepted. Right?
Yeah.
Accepted.
So
It's the hottest thing to be right now.
It's called heterosexually challenged.
Brett Morin is his name, and his brother is gay, and he talks about his gay brother in his set. And during his set, Justin Martindale runs up and talks about how he hooked up with, but he's more descriptive of what he did with Brent's brother. The whole crowd is just, oh my God, that's so crazy, right? So I'm like, oh, this crowd likes that. I'll walk up and talk about how I lost a bet on Punch Drunk, and I had to do ecstasy and watch 2 hours of gay porn, okay? Silent! The crowd just went silent. Oh, dude, you just laughed.
That's not gay.
Violating. But that gets into it. Why is that anything?
Exactly.
Why?
You're
Why does that-
appropriating, quote unquote.
So, Sam,
I'm participating in a weird way.
Sam, back when comedy was actually comedy, remember those days?
Yeah.
What was the rule of comedy? You remember what the rule of comedy was? If you wanted to insult one demographic, you make fun of yourself first.
Yeah.
Then you move on to everybody else. You can't even do that anymore because it's cultural appropriation at that point, or it's whatever they're calling it these days.
No, well, that's a fake term made up in a think
Absolutely.
tank. That's all done on purpose, and it's all cultural Marxism, and they all know it, and people are waking up to it all the time. But it's really like my whole theory is if you get offended by jokes, you know how easy your life must be?
Yes.
The more you get offended by words, the higher up on the financial hierarchy you are. You want to go to Skid Row and see how long it takes before someone complains about their pronouns.
Exactly. Ooh,
Right?
we got that in
that
story.
case.
We got that in stereo right there.
You know, but so it's this whole thing where like, I honestly believe that we as creatures have this need for fight and flight,
Right.
right? And it's
Yeah.
like ingrained in us in these meat suits we have.
Yeah.
And the more you know, and the lower down the economic scale you go, the hierarchy, the more the fight and flight becomes more and more real.
Agreed.
Sure.
Okay? And the higher you go up, the less and less it gets to the point at the highest, like when we're talking higher middle class, upper class,
Yep.
they have to start literally appropriating other people's struggles.
Of course.
Because they have none, right?
They have none. They have none. So they get into this and they do it by not laughing at certain jokes. Like I was telling you guys earlier, like I get asked to do shows all the time. I go, are you going to be okay if I upset women, ethnic minorities, and gay people? Because I'm just going to be real about my life. I never make up jokes just to be edgy. I literally talk about what happens in my life.
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like I was driving down the street because I still have drug tendencies. And I was like, I take these side roads because I got copophobia.
Right.
And I'm driving and I see this naked blonde chick walking down the street. I'm like, holy shit, she's hot. I roll up, she turns around, her dick's flapping in the wind. So I'm like, I talk about it and like, oh.
Oh, you can't
I have this-
talk about the transgender community.
Well, I mean, I thought they're unicorns. I have this joke about how I got a TV show, but it's based on cooking. But it's going to be a cooking show that's based on conspiracies, right? And I'm going to do like flat Earth pancakes and New World Order omelets. And for dinner, for dessert, I'm going to make Michelle Obama chocolate ding dongs, right?
By the way, I'm sure you guys saw this a while ago. right before Joan Rivers went in to get her final plastic surgery or whatever it was, she was interviewed. I don't know where she was going. She was getting out of a car, going into a building, and they asked her if the U.S. is ready for its first gay president, and her answer was, "We already have one." And the reporter looked confused, and he's like, what do you mean we already have one? She's like, we have Obama. Obama's in the White House. And he's like, huh? Everyone knows that Michelle is I can't even say the word on YouTube, transgender, let's just say. Yeah, but the slang for transgender.
Yeah.
And a week later, the lady's dead.
We've had 2 bisexual presidents and 2 gay presidents, okay? The bisexual ones were JFK and Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton is like the Andy Dick of the White House, where he's just hitting holes and asking questions later.
Right.
And then the gay ones were Obama and George Bush Sr. So, fun facts. Facts.
I would think George Bush Sr., even if he wasn't gay going in, became gay after, having to be married to, George Washington's doppelganger.
No. Aleister Crowley's daughter. She was literally Aleister Crowley's daughter.
Oh, okay.
Do you know who Aleister Crowley is?
Aleister Crowley, yeah.
Yeah, go look up in the internet Aleister Crowley and Barbara Bush and see as they take their heads and they put a spike, bang, they put it together.
Oh my gosh, I've never seen that. Okay.
Okay, I don't want to get you guys in trouble, so we'll keep moving. Any questions?
Did you recently see, what are they calling UFOs nowadays? They're calling them something else.
What are they called?
They have a 3-letter
unidentified
something, UDI, something.
Yeah.
Anyway, recently, a few days ago, I saw another video. I couldn't even tell what it was. It looked like a giant jellyfish floating in the middle of the sky. Did you see that one yet?
Yeah.
What do we make of these?
You know what they were speaking Arabic, and you know what they were calling it?
What were they calling
it? A jinn.
Jinn.
And jinn
like a genie.
No, jinns are like evil spirits in Arabic culture. They don't believe in ghosts, but they believe in
jinns, yeah.
Yeah, that come and fuck with you.
Right.
Then they were calling it a jinn.
Wow. Okay. But
have you ever seen I know, in Turkey they had this guy was opening his market. Have you ever seen this video?
No.
So I was on the CW for 2 episodes. It's called Mysteries, Unsolved Mysteries. No, it was called, I forget the name of the show. That's
Unsolved Mysteries. That was with Robert Stack, right?
Not to cut you off, but UFOs are now called UAPs.
Yes.
Aerial
something. Yeah, something. Yeah.
It's that.
Even UFOs out of date now. You can't use that term anymore.
They're all man-made.
Right.
Those are man-made technologies. Real interdimensional beings don't come in ships. They don't. They're interdimensional. They just show up, But so I did this show called Mysteries Decoded on CW, and they brought me back because they found some footage of in Turkey. This guy owned like a small little shop, a vegetable, like a 5 and dime store.
Sure.
And he comes out and he turns his back and he's messing with his vegetables, and out of nowhere this guy appears, taps him on the shoulder. The guy turns around. As he turns around, a truck is coming around, and the truck's ladder just flies out, and he steps back, misses it, goes, what the? And looks, and the guy was gone.
Wow.
It's
like a guardian angel.
Yeah.
Crazy, dude.
It was that fast that he was able to react that way.
Yeah.
So maybe that's a superhero. Maybe it's Flash.
Maybe it was Flash. Maybe it was some straight up Marvel comics.
Yeah, some DC comics.
He didn't look like Flash. He looked like a librarian.
Well, Flash wouldn't look like Flash. You need to have a secret identity.
That's true. But this guy had like a black sweater on and rimmed glasses.
It's crazy, man. All kinds of stuff is going on that are unexplainable these days. Such as like how people seem to want to go to clubs to get offended, like I said earlier.
Yeah, man, it's just the way it is. But I think what's happening is that the apparatus to cancel people is dying. You know,
God, I hope
Hopefully, man.
nobody's watching the mainstream media. And Twitter's like, there's something going on Twitter. I don't trust any billionaire as far as I can kick them, but something's going on there. Something interesting, and they're getting rid of a lot of bots.
Yeah.
And that is how the whole thing got
out of control. Let's be honest, dude.
Yeah.
Twitter 2013,
astroturfing. It's called
awesome. You know,
Not to cut you off, but I don't know if you saw over the weekend when Musk tweeted, "Should I step down as CEO?" I think he only did that because he wanted to see if there are any bots or how many bots are going to respond. So when he first tweeted that, the response was overwhelmingly no, stay in charge. Okay, over the weekend, it flipped completely. So I think he did it, and he's got some sort of mechanism or some sort of tracking software or something where he can detect how many bots are actually answering that question. So he's trying to get rid of the bots. So I think that whole poll was a disguise just to.
Here's my take on Elon. Okay, Elon isn't like a regular person. Okay, I mean, first of all, he's got Asperger's. Okay, highly intelligent. Okay, very analytical, socially awkward. A lot of people are like this. Okay, the man is worth a shit ton of money, and even in the beginning, his whole mission was to save humanity. This is what this guy wants to do. He sees the writing on the wall. He's not for it. And let's be honest, if this guy wanted to go Bond villain, he could have gone Bond villain real quick. Because this guy's got at least 50 satellites orbiting the fucking Earth right now. Let's be honest.
Let me just ask you directly, both of you guys, if you had that much money and that much power and everything, would you even mess with? Why would you even get involved with any of this?
I would. If I had Elon fuck off money, I would probably piss off every liberal on the planet.
Well, because I think he understands brand name recognition.
That too.
And he's watched a lot of people try to get into the market, and the market isn't really doing that well. So my whole thing is, hey, what I can now get something that is hemorrhaging money. Mm-hmm. And I can buy it and buy this brand name, and all I have to do is go in there and do some flips. Now, if he builds it so it has like video capabilities that can rival YouTube, it is one of the few things that may actually be able to fight back against YouTube.
He does have plans to expand Twitter and bring in new features. Matter of fact, I think has already implemented from the 200 character limit to 2,000. So now you can keep typing on whatever you want to say, and he's got plans to bring in those types of features.
So here's the whole thing about Elon, and it's just like my whole theory on any of these billionaires. You really got to watch yourself, because most of the stories aren't exactly what you thought they were. Yeah. Okay. Right. And the truth is that Elon Musk came from very, very wealthy people. They were emerald dealers in South Africa. His father used to brag about they had so much money they couldn't shut the vault. And that's okay. Right? Yeah. He takes over Twitter, he takes over PayPal, he changes their stories to make it seem like he made them, blew them up, which isn't true. Okay. But that's fine.
Yeah.
He's the number one Defense Department contractor. You have to kind of go, what's going on with that? Now, what I will tell you is that sometimes a puppet thinks he's a real boy, right? and they start to go off the reservation.
Right.
Yeah.
And you see that a lot with rappers, right? Where rappers are kind of brought up through the system, and at some point they start thinking that they can make their own calls.
You see it with heads of state too. I mean, look at Gaddafi, look at Hussein, Saddam Hussein.
100%.
Yeah, Noriega.
They're all puppets, and then bam, suddenly they think they can make the calls.
Yep.
And that could be Putin too. I mean, Putin made a call to, Boris Yeltsin made a call to the Clintons to see if Putin would be okay. They approved him. Yeah. And then at some point he's got to be like, I got all this money. I got this incredible, there's a lot going on with Russia that has more to do with the Ukraine and Russia than people know. This is all centuries, BC stuff. Sure. BC, man. Dude, I'll send you this video about black nobility. But, dude, Alexander the Great went into what is now Lebanon, which had Triad or Tried or something like that. The city is called something like that. It was the most fortified city in the world at that time. And they call this the greatest military siege of all time. And this is where the Phoenicians and all them kind of began. This is where Moloch and all that worshiping started. And Alexander II, the first, or one of the Alexanders, went in there and annihilated the city. And that's where the war starts.
Yeah.
So you keep going on. You get into like the Bolshevik Revolution and all that stuff that went on in Russia. That's what's happening here in America right now. In real-time, silent Bolshevik revolution. And we can get into that if you guys want to. But, it's like I think Putin was put in place to run some shit. And then I think he just was like, dude, why am I still playing ball with you guys like this way? I'm going to read it myself. I'm so rich. And you can't, listen, it's the same reason you can't go into America. It's just, you can't invade the you just can't do it, dude.
100%.
They can try to do it. It's never going to happen. We have the greatest Navy, and on top of that, like, you can't.
We have 2 big bodies of water to cut across.
Yeah,
you cannot attack America.
In every house has multiple guns.
Yeah, the sad
why the Japanese didn't attack us in World War II. They knew everybody was armed.
The sad part is attacking ourselves from within. That's the problem.
Yeah, when it's cultural Marxism, it's all being funded by BlackRock and this ESG scores, but it's not real. It's all astro.
That's right.
But this is starting. People are starting to wake up to this, But yeah, man, I think it's so whatever Elon could be like, dude, I don't want to do this anymore or whatever. I know he's like, you got to watch Neuralink has a lot of transhumanism possibilities in it. Is it the satellite system? Is that the AV unit for Project Bluebeam? That's possible as well. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
That's true.
I mean, it's interesting, bro. It's super interesting, man. And it's just like, so I've been doing this for a while, man.
Yeah.
And, I've gone deep down. And if you ask me everything, I go, what is this all about? Sure. It's not about money. It's not about power. Dog, it's all spiritual. It's a spiritual war. These people, they worship whatever it is, the fallen angels, the Anunnaki. They might be archons, whatever. That's the base of power. Right. That is the real base of power.
And good and evil is real. Good and evil is 100% real.
100%.
And then there is evil in this world that is perpetrating everything that we're seeing that are completely dastardly and the atrocities we're seeing. Yeah, and
that's where the children stuff comes in.
So that's
all Chronos.
That's what I actually wanted to bring up. For years, there was a subliminal war on our children in programming. Subliminal.
Yeah.
Now it's out in the open.
Now it's liminal. Not only is it liminal, it's superliminal. Is that even a word?
It is right now.
Yeah, subliminal?
No, superliminal. It's like in your face.
It's luminous, super luminous.
I think somebody brought that up today. It's like she called it the nonstop fire hosing of propaganda. And you go, why are they doing it nonstop? Because they're losing, dude.
Yep.
And the truth of the matter is, I'm into this astrology shit. I'm really getting into. I tried to start studying Vedic astrology. It's like, here's a beginner's book. I'm like, this is Chinese, dog. It is so hard. Even the beginning is like advanced jujitsu, right?
Sure.
But you get into that, man. They're all talking about this, that the stars below, so above, so below. All that. Is that my phone? I don't know, but it's just like we're entering this age of astrology, and like these elites think that they want you to think they're making the change. In reality, we're entering a wonderful time.
Right. Yeah. Hopefully, I hope you're right.
No,
man.
dude, we are, bro. Because there's one rule, man, and that rule is love. That is, and as a drug addict, sex addicted, knuckle dragger, okay, it's very hard for me to say that because I'm not much of a love person. But that is it. When you get into the Hermetic principles, Everything's about love and giving it away and positive energy and words are magic and, laws of attraction.
Right.
That's what it is. So these people like Klaus Schwab, they're not bigger than love and the universe.
By the way, I want to clarify something. You called yourself a drug addict, but I did see your post a few days ago about being sober. So congratulations on that. And you're way far from being a drug addict right now. So congratulations.
Well, this gets into something very interesting. I'll go to these meetings and I'll hear like a 30-year-old sober guy go, I'm an alcoholic and a drug addict. And, so this is like super interesting. I go, why do they say that? And then I started studying these Hermetic principles and they go, it is the law of dualism. Everybody has good and everybody has evil. Everybody has maybe not evil, but dark, right?
Sure.
Everyone has a dark passenger, right?
Yeah.
And what modern culture wants you to do is try to think you can eliminate that dark passenger. So we spend all time, everything, feeling bad because this dark passenger has a presence inside of us, and we're taking pharmaceuticals, we're going to therapy, we're doing all the shit, right?
Right.
And in reality, that is the law of dualism. That's why everyone can look at Trump and see light and dark, because he has light and dark. In some people, it's hard to find. Find me the light in Hillary, but I'm just somebody liked her, right?
That's near an
So you
impossibility.
always have the dark passenger inside you, and then you have to. And the masters use that dark passenger to elevate their light, to make them better people. That's right. Am I just yelling at you guys this whole show? This is every time I do a podcast. I'm like, I'm so sorry. So sorry.
I mean, there's a mic, so yeah. This is very interesting stuff. You're dropping interesting knowledge is being dropped right now.
Everybody in your chats.
We're actually building up.
It's like, so I got super spiritual, man. And I've been like really diving into all these things. And like my favorite topic is hidden history and how all our history that we're taught is a 100% lie. It's all a lie. It's all a lie. And why do they do that? Because they don't want you to know how powerful you are.
Right.
That you are part of you are the universe. Self-actualizing, I can never say that word, but that's what you're doing. And they don't want you to know that. And they want you to think you're a speck of shit in sneakers hurling through space for no reason. And that's not what it is.
100%.
Okay, I'll listen to you guys now.
Well, no, it's
Well, we're just you got us encaptivated with all this knowledge and this.
You want to be a slave for the rest of your life? Who wants to be a slave? Nobody, right? But that's what you are the second you're born, especially in this country. What's the first thing they give you when you get a name?
Birth certificate.
No.
Social security number.
Social security.
Oh, really? Okay.
That social security number will be with you till the day you die.
You know what my goals is?
Hands on it, and you have to change it. Get new one. But my point is this:
Can you change your social security?
you can
number?
if it's compromised.
You know what I'm going to do, dude? I'm saving money right now. I'm going to get a house, and then the next thing I save, I'm going to buy my daughters their presents off the stock market.
Nice.
For about 50 G, you can buy yourself from being, because right now all of us are being traded.
That's right.
On the stock market. I'm going to buy them back.
That's
and
awesome.
give them so they're no longer being traded and all that stuff.
That is awesome.
So what were you saying, Basil?
No, what I'm saying is you're taught, okay, at an early age. You start going to school, okay? What do they teach you at school? Sit down, shut up, behave, be obedient. You hear this for 12 years of your life. You become an adult. You go to college, or as I like to call them, indoctrination centers now, universities. And the professors tell you the same thing. And they put ideologies in your head that start warping you into their mindset. Okay? And the mavericks and the radicals that grew up are ostracized and kicked out of society. They don't get the nice jobs. They don't get all this bullshit. You got to be subservient. Then you work a cubicle job for 30, 40 fucking years chasing money.
Yeah.
You're indebted to them for the rest of your fucking life. You end up chasing the money, you die, and then your children inherit your fucking debt. And the cycle continues and continues.
And
this is bullshit.
I understand where you're coming from, but having said all that, This is still the greatest country and the greatest system we have in the world. Hold on a second. Hold on. Where is it that's better than?
The only reason this country is better is because we have the Second Amendment. God damn it!
Right, but we do have it. And listen.
I would love to know that if there is a better system set up somewhere in the rest of the world.
There might have been.
I'm talking about right now.
Ago before COVID, all these places that were talking shit to us, like Canada, Australia, New Zealand, now I've heard that not all of Australia has gone through this, just Providence has happened.
Yes.
But it's super interesting.
New Zealand has, and they've gotten worse.
New Zealand's gone total radical. Totalitarian.
Yeah, it's a totalitarian regime.
And that's what COVID was really about.
Right now it is. That's the problem.
Trump. I firmly believe that.
Well, it's interesting. Regardless of what Trump is and whether he was chosen over Hillary, I don't know. But the COVID thing was way in progress before. It was. Yeah. Same thing with 9/11, same thing with this Ukrainian war, and they need the right people in the right places. I don't know why Trump won, and there's a lot. So
Hillary's not likable. Hillary's not likable. That's the problem.
Well, she didn't campaign in Wisconsin or Michigan, which is a giant no when you're trying to win these states, man.
Why did she not? Why?
Because she thought she had it wrapped.
No.
That's why.
She thought she had it locked up. They had the media in total spin for her.
Right.
Okay. Exit polls were predicting blowouts for Hillary. She was sitting back writing her freaking victory speech. But exit polls lie. People were ashamed to vote for Donald Trump because he's anti-establishment. They really wanted somebody to support them.
Yeah.
At that point.
He's interesting.
He is an interesting
dude.
character.
He won the second time as well. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah, for sure. But
they released a biological weapon in the world to stop him. Every swing state, first of all, every blue state.
You want to hear something crazy? We're not going to say what it is. We'll call it the jelly bean.
The jelly bean.
Okay, they put out. So have you ever heard? So I go on the road with a guy named Eddie Bravo. We call him. I call him the Prophet Eddie Bravo.
We know him.
Okay, the Prophet Eddie Bravo has been right about, even when I'm like, I don't know if I can go with that. I'm like, okay, you were right again. So he has this theory, dude, about why. So he's talked about this on stage, and like, I'm like, dude, I think you're giving him too much credit.
Sure.
But then he starts saying some stuff, and I start looking around. I go, dude, this might be plausible, and that is that Trump put out the jelly bean quicker than they wanted it out. Okay. Because he knew what was going to happen with the jelly bean and how long they want this to roll out, which was supposed to be a 10-year process of slowly rolling out the jelly bean. Okay. So he puts out this jelly bean. So then you hear Trump's own sons, who we all know they love each other. They love each other. Like Trump and his sons love each other, right? You don't think that's a real thing?
I think that's a real thing, yeah.
They love each other.
I think that's true.
Well, all his kids, all his sons are talking about is how dangerous this jelly bean is.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's like it's the worst jelly bean. But what Trump's going out going, I love my jelly bean. I'm the one who put out the jelly bean. And his kids who like are always picturing. I'm like, F this jelly bean. And you're like, what is that about?
Right. That's
so
odd.
I'll play this game. What is the end game here? What was Trump's end game?
What did Eddie Bravo say about this?
Is to expose what was going on. Okay. And
bravo to that.
So if you listen, that's great. If you listen to what the news and like sports, they're still putting at like we don't have all the Pfizer dubs.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Say what? Get your jelly bean. Go get the jelly bean. And you're like,
I think we could say booster. So
go get your rooster and your jelly bean.
I said booster, but yeah, rooster's fine.
Rooster for now.
Your jelly bean and your 19th rooster. There you go.
So the year 2030 is a big deal.
Right.
So I just discovered this guy 2 days ago. 2 days ago. And it's where is it? I'll tell you his name. White Lotus of Power, I think it's called.
White Lotus, that's an HBO show, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like, I mean, I've been watching this video, and he's very much into the esoteric and all this stuff, right? So I've been
Basil's pulling him up right now.
right. Okay, it's hold on, let me just push this down real quick. It's White Lotus of Light is his website, right?
Okay.
And I can't stop talking about this guy. But I've been watching his videos on the Venetian black nobility, who I think is the real source of power in the world. Okay,
100%.
and so he's been talking about, this guy's been talking about how the world is going to, in around 2025, the world's going to start to change for good.
Are we talking about like Escape from New York kind of shit?
No. We're talking about how like everybody will be waking up to what this small group.
Okay.
He goes, by 2030, it will be a totally different reality. Now, I go, where have we heard 2030 before? 2030 agenda, right?
Mm-hmm.
Again, they want you to think they're running shit.
Ah, okay. Got it.
They invert everything.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. That's.
You have to watch this guy. I'm trying to get him on my show, dude.
So there was a show. We all
Is
know.
anyone saying shut up, Sam? Let them talk.
No. Go
There
ahead.
was
We're good.
but in 2009 or 10 with Jesse Ventura.
Yeah.
I think we've all seen that clip.
Great. No, fuck the clip.
Yeah.
Every episode was fucking amazing. And
Yeah.
Jesse is awesome. Okay. But there was one clip
Yes.
of a lady that said there's going to be a mass pandemic
Yes.
of jelly beans and they're going to force people
Yeah.
to inject you and
With jelly bellies.
with jelly bellies. And she goes, I'm getting the fuck out of the country. And this
Right.
was 10 years before.
It was like 2009 or something.
That's right. 10, 11 years before
Yeah.
the jelly bean.
Right.
It's weird because like Jesse went around telling everybody to get jelly beans and get roosters.
Yeah. Well, he's part of the machine again. That's what it is.
You know, that's the thing. That's why I believe that's why, getting back to Trump, I think that's why they kept him out the second time, because he didn't want to go along with the machine.
Well, Israel turned their back on him, and I think he's pissed. Because, there's reasons not to like Trump. There
Sure.
really are reasons not to like Trump. If we get into BlackRock, he put BlackRock in charge of the Federal Reserve.
Right.
I mean, they've been printing money and they've been bailing. So all this ESG stuff, which is just a new rebranding of cultural Marxism, is why every commercial doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
You're like, who are you advertising to? Like, what is
Right.
that about? So it's because they're all trying to get these ESG scores so BlackRock will work with them. Well, BlackRock is now, their software runs the Federal Reserve. So what they do is they do business with these people, they take massive losses, and then they just do a bailout to cover all their losses. It's completely astroturf. The progressive left is American ISIS.
Yep.
They are well-funded extremists. There's not enough of them to do any real damage unless you amplify them through social media. And that's what they've been doing. But people are waking up to it.
Yeah, 100%.
Progressive left, they're just, if there ever was the screaming minority, that's them.
Yeah, but dude,
100%.
study the Bolshevik War. What'd they do? And dude, I tell this to everybody, like, you progressives better start studying what you beg for. Watch what you wish for. Because if you're an ethnic minority, you're a woman, or you're an alternative lifestyle, go look at what your type is. Look how you're treated in Russia, China, parts of Asia, Latin America.
You should be kissing the ground of of this country, and you're over here yelling about oppression.
You tell every Armenian, second generation Armenian that's born here, okay, they had it too good.
Right.
They're all liberal and they're all progressives and they all want socialism. Their parents and grandparents escaped socialism to come here because America was land of the free. Okay? And Ronald Reagan said it best right there. Ronnie, I have him up on my wall. Okay?
Speaking of jelly beans,
I'm telling you.
Don't even get me started on that. Me and my friend Brian Callen scream at each other. I'm trying not to yell at him, and then he just says stuff, and I just I can't, for humanity, take this anymore.
Ronald Reagan said it best.
Right.
Freedom is one generation away from being lost.
Yeah, one generation away from extinction.
I mean, this new generation, I mean, you cannot describe a better bunch of useful idiots ever in
They have
history.
no clue what they're doing. And the first ones that get you, have you ever watched that Yuri?
Yes.
Have you watched that
In
thing?
1984, he's a defected KGB operative in the United States, and he's talking about the three-phase plan.
Perfectly predicted what was going to happen. Perfectly predicted it.
He predicted this shit.
So I mean, and I've said this before, dude. As soon as, let's say, socialism or communism gets installed, you know who they're going to get rid of? The snitches, the sellouts, the people who sell out their own. You know, there's a famous movie. I can't remember the movie, but it was a movie in which like someone from an inner city was selling out people in his neighborhood, and one of the main characters goes, There's no bigger scumbag in the world than somebody that will sell out his own people. And that's dude, if you're a communist leader and you run, why do you want sellouts? Because they're going to become the biggest enemy of you when they realize you completely lied to them about everything going on. There's no revolution is naturally occurring.
Yep.
It is all provoked and astroturfed. Most people just want to live their life. Now, I do believe we should bring back punching in the face.
100%.
I think the fact that we got rid of being able to punch them, not the unnecessary violence or uncalled for violence, but chin-checking dudes that are getting out of pocket.
Yes.
That's allowed weak betas to talk mad smack on the internet.
Yeah, they're trying to change the lineup for assaulting to be a felony, which is words. Are you kidding me? I'm old enough to remember when you had to punch somebody to do it.
We got people commenting, so.
Sam is a horrible person.
Edgar's like, I'm offended, but he's obviously kidding. So I'm like, please accept our sorry, not sorry. Edgar hosts another podcast, so.
What's his podcast? Give him a shout out.
It's Wise Nuts.
It's nuts.
We've got Edgar and Armand from Wise Nuts in the house right now. I always appreciate the support, guys. And you know, we've got your back as well. Sam, another thing was we were talking about earlier before we went on the air about.
Let me talk about anything you want. I've gone too far.
No. We haven't gotten where we want to be yet.
Okay, perfect.
As far as these TV commercials, I know it may be like contriving a little bit, like you know. In the grand scheme of things, not that important, but I think there's a larger how should I put it, a larger scale effect or intended effect upon the public. The reason they put these commercials on the air, and like I said before we went on the air, it's really odd to me that 1 to 3% at most of the population is being represented 80 to 90% in commercials today.
Yeah.
It's sorry, but just like Sam said, there's look at the latest Disney movie.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I've watched a lot of interracial porn, so I'm cool with it. But it doesn't make any sense. Like, your ads are meant to reach who you think your clientele is.
Exactly. That's
we're getting away from that. Like I told you guys, like in Sports Center, right? They've run HIV ads left and right. I'm like, do you think gay men who might get HIV are watching Sports Center and to enough that you're going to spend that kind of money?
Right.
On an ad in the middle of ESPN's only popular show anymore, which is Sports Center.
Yeah.
It's true.
Or when they have football on. That's about the only time.
You see that?
Yeah.
But it's not about that. It's about an ESG score. So that company or Disney runs to BlackRock going, hey, look, we ran an AIDS video during Sports Center. Can we get some points? You get points.
Right.
That's how it works.
Sam, for the viewers, what does ESG stand for?
Environmental social governance. What it actually stands for is environmental social corporate governance, but they left out corporates because they don't want you to know. And I'm very thankful that Larry Fink came up with that, because now we can talk about it and not be called anti-Semitic when we bring up cultural Marxism. That's a term that they throw on a lot of stuff because they just don't want you to discuss it. But that is 100% what is going on. Demonize the ethnic demonize the ethnic majority, elevate the ethnic minority, elevate alternative lifestyles, and cause gender wars. That's 100% it. And every big city in America is basically a cultural Marxism hotbed. And they're what I call free-range reservations. If you study what they did to the indigenous and to the black community, which is corral them into small areas, okay? Take away men's work, because men are defined by their paycheck.
Yeah.
That's how we define ourselves, okay? Then you flood it, so men have no jobs, so they have no identity, and then you flood it with drugs and alcohol. And that's exactly what every single reservation did. That's what the inner cities did. And this is what they're doing in the middle class now. They're flooding us with drugs. They're destroying the family unit. They're causing gender wars. I was flying on like a Delta or like United, and they were bragging about how they're doing a female-only pilot training courses.
God help you.
I'm like, why is that? Why is anyone cheering this on?
Yeah, why is that a thing?
Why is that a thing?
Yeah.
I don't need to have diversity with someone flying my plane. I want the best to do it.
Exactly.
If it's a black British lesbian, then let me a black British lesbian. But it's got to be the best.
The
to
best,
sit there
yeah.
and go, okay, because you have a vagina, you're in. You with the dick, you're out. Doesn't make any sense to me.
100%. Meritocracy's gone out the window in this country, all because of cultural Marxism. And Sam's nailing it right now.
That's been happening for the longest time. Yeah, go ahead.
What Sam just pointed out by the destruction of the nuclear family, okay, which has worked so well for this for the past 70 years. The drugs that are coming into suburbia now, they're not crack cocaine, they're legal weed, okay? And we were talking about this off air. They are not our parents' or grandparents' weed, man. These are highly potent, genetically modified plants that will fuck you up. Okay, and I am a perfect example because, like an idiot, during COVID, during lockdowns, I got introduced to edibles and I never smoked the weed. But I'm like, oh, they're fucking gummies. They're harmless. I pop a pill or I pop a gummy every night. And what happens? New Year's Eve, I'm sitting with my wife watching Cobra Kai. My left arm gets numb. My fucking heart starts racing. I call 911, thinking, am I going to see my kids again? Paramedics show up. Sir, you're not having a heart attack. Do you have a history of panic attacks? So I'm like, no. It continued for a year, dude. I still popped them and popped them and popped them.
You're like, oh my God, I'm so afraid.
It can't be the weed, right?
Oh my God.
What do you remember from high school?
Like the orange one.
What do you remember from high school?
Oh, that one girl.
Relax you, man. You get right back and relax, and you're in a different consciousness, man. Bullshit. Not with these, dude. They're so potent, they actually exacerbate your anxiety.
Yeah, man. Most of my friends who smoke a butt ton of weed have some kind of manic depressant or like bipolar
100%.
reality. That's just who they are. I mean, they can snap at you like that. But it's not only just the weed 100%. When weed, like I have a lot of good friends in the weed business. I'm super happy for them. I'm not judging it and I wouldn't take it away. But, I have the same opinion of pornography. It's like I am not participating in the use of pornography anymore. But I don't think pornography should be gone because it's just going to go underground. And then those people get put into dangerous situations. I don't think you should use it. I think it takes a lot of your chi. But, when you get in, I mean, what they're doing with the fentanyl getting in, and opium basically funds all of these elites. That's how they really run everything, is off the opium and the opium wars. And again, that White Lotus Power guy was talking a lot about that. And the opium war, the British India opium wars to China. Now, I'm going to tell you something that I think them making China the bad guy is a military-industrial psyop.
100%.
China, based on my friend Brian Palin just did an interview with an author who's been doing deep dives into China, and he says China's about 10 years from almost not even being China anymore.
Yeah.
Because of their single child. They don't have enough people to keep their economy going. They don't have, which is so crazy. China's so big they can't find oil anywhere, which is so nuts to me.
But China owns 75% of the U.S., dude. In treasury, they own our treasury bonds.
Yeah, I mean,
it's insane.
Yeah,
and real estate.
Dude, yeah, it's all good. But all the Chinese are moving here, and guess what? They're becoming Americans, right? You ever go like every Chinese place I know shuts down on every holiday. It doesn't even matter what it is. You go to your favorite Chinese food and donut shop, and it's closed on Arbor Day, right? They take every day off. So
they're very proud people. They don't assimilate well. They don't. That's why they all have their own Chinatowns in every city. It's the truth.
100%, dude. And dude, if you go to San Francisco, they're openly allowed to discriminate against round eye. That's all they do.
Yeah, but going to San Francisco, that's a long shot. Unless I get booked there. That's about it.
No. I mean, dude, they ruined a world-class city.
Yeah.
You know, no matter what they want to say, you have been allowed to implement your ideas, and it's failed miserably. You've had everything. You've had law enforcement. You've had the media. You've had the Senate. You've had Congress. You've had the governors. You've had the president.
Every state represent everything.
You had everything to implement. You've had the colleges. You had the children. You had everybody, and it's failed miserably.
That's right.
It's time to go back. Dude, what they've tried to do is make fringe lifestyles
exactly
the main life. You can't do that. Fringe is meant to be fringe.
Right.
There's no outlaws anymore.
Armand has a question here that he asked a while ago. Do we think Fauci will be investigated?
No.
I do.
Not with Biden and everybody running the show. It's not happening. And the House of Representatives
down. I don't know, but
look, the Rand Paul and the House of Representatives and the Republicans are going to take majority. They can do a dog and pony show just like the Democrats did for 4 fucking years. But the bottom line is this: Fauci's a part of the cog. He's not going anywhere until the entire wheel shuts down, and that's the truth. He's not going to. Trump should have fired him before he left office, and he didn't. So that should say something.
Well, there's this whole theory that you kind of got to let everything be exposed. I know it sounds nuts, and that's a lot of having faith. But again, in the Prophet Eddie Bravo,
what did the Prophet Eddie Bravo say about
he says all this has to happen so it's exposed, so people see how bad the corruption is.
Okay.
And let's face it, that's kind of been happening lately.
Oh, absolutely.
And this bubble we live in, we think America is crashing and burning. And the truth is we're doing way better than 95% of the rest of the world. Europe is in trouble, man. Latin America is rioting everywhere. Dude, we have natural resources, a strong military. And even though these big cities are full of ho-tards, political retards, okay? We're doing great. I mean, like, they just want us to think that we're doomed and they're running everything. And the truth is,
do we have a strong military? I mean, it's gone so woke now.
And Biden's been diverting funds away from the military and giving it to freaking Ukraine.
Well, I'm glad you brought up South America, dude. What's going on in Brazil right now? They are revolting against globalist power. This Dominion voting machines, the people are actually
dude, what about Arizona? We don't even have to go to Brazil. Dude, Carrie Lake, who
she won.
If there's anyone who's going to shut down the border, it's Carrie Lake, because she looks like she loves blow. Am I right? She looks like she's did some blow and got a high black guy body count. Am I right, everybody? Right. But the point is,
she did win that election, and it looks like she's going to have her day in court.
Yep. And they've been scared. I'm like, dude, everyone's like, dude, Arizona is a blue state. I'm like,
oh, shit.
Are you crazy, man?
So many good old boys in Arizona.
Dude, they had a 100-mile car convoy for Trump in 2020.
Yeah.
Dude, every chick in Arizona looks like Carrie Lake. They all look like they got that haircut that could go that and it's just.
Let me tell you guys,
That haircut looks like she wants to talk to the manager.
The ones in the 90s. Hold on, Sammy went to UNLV, but the hottest school to go to was Arizona State.
Still is.
Yeah, because you had the hottest chicks from California and Texas going to Arizona.
The dumb ones go there.
Let me just put it to you this way: as far as the election in Arizona, Katie Hobbs, who supposedly won the election the day after the day after when they did the count.
The day after or the week after? What happened to those?
Hold on. Supposedly she won that election. I went on her Facebook account. She had about 11,000 followers. 20,000 followers. I mean,
you could be governor of Arizona, Harry.
How does someone that doesn't get out of her basement ever, refuses to debate, does not hold rallies, and when she did hold that one rally, she had about 11 people, and 8 of them were her staff. So it ended up winning the state.
You just described Joe Biden.
Yeah,
you just described.
So I ended up writing on her wall on her Facebook, or Instagram. I said, "Congratulations! Maybe now you can get as many followers as I have." And then I went back about 2 hours later. That 11,000 all of a sudden had become 15. Well, let me put it this way: 11,117 had become 15,117, which means she bought 4,000 followers in that hour.
It's all horseshit.
Crazy, man. And
exactly 4,000.
They're all being exposed, and it started with Hillary Clinton. And I'm not a socialist in any way. I would take crony capitalism over socialism
100%.
any day. But the Democratic Party at that time wanted Bernie Sanders. And
right.
If you believe in democracy, they get the right to have the candidate they want.
Absolutely.
And that's what started Tinfoil Hat. Tinfoil Hat started because I was watching people like Jimmy Dore and Lee Camp, who are super progressives. Jimmy's come a little farther to the right a little bit.
Lately, yeah.
I would say he's more common sense than right now.
Yes.
Like a right wing. I want to get that right. He's right about everything.
It's a weird place in the world when Jimmy Dore and Tucker Carlson are seeing eye to eye on a lot of things.
100%. Yeah. And they were talking about exit polls. And this is a big reason why they're doing mail-in ballots, is because they not only can they fudge the numbers, but there's no exit polls with a
Sure.
And so so the election board, the Federal Election Committee says if exit polls are off by more than like 2 or 3%, there's election fraud. Hillary Clinton's numbers were 15%. And the worst part is Bernie Sanders let it happen.
Yeah, you went along with it. He had no choice. I mean, he's part of that machine.
Yeah.
So he speaks up, he's out. So he wouldn't dare speak up. Edgar has a question as far as, do you think Fauci will face justice even if Trump comes back?
I think
he's not coming back.
You don't think Trump's going to run again?
He'll run.
Oh, he's running for sure.
Republican nod.
You don't think so?
Go to DeSantis. Now, the worst thing Trump could do is start his own.
By the way,
party.
Newsom is putting his hat in the ring already.
I would so hope so.
And you know how he's starting to actually criticize Biden. He just did yesterday when he criticized Biden's policy on immigration. Hold on a second, dude. You were 100% on board with it all the way up until now.
He's a piece of shit.
All of a sudden now he's
the biggest piece of shit in the world. And
I love ripping on him on Twitter.
Well, the question is, have they done enough work to stop the mail-in ballots? And I just don't know if they have, dude.
Again, guys, getting back to my point, when the jelly bean was released, the government and the blue states used it as an excuse to send everybody mail-in ballots. We never had mail-in ballots before the jelly bean was
100%.
released. Okay, we had absentee ballots, and those had to be requested, but not mail-in ballots. So everybody gets mail-in ballots.
Well, it's my theory that the Ukraine was in motion, that this whole thing's been in motion for a while, and they needed Joe Biden in there because they knew Trump would never give the Ukraine all that money.
Never.
So it's kind of like when people always like, oh, you're a Republican. I'm like, I'm on no side, bro. I'm on nobody's side.
But see, that's the problem with the progressives. Okay, if you're not on their side, you're a
Hold on.
Republican.
If you're not on their side, 150%. You can't even agree with them on one thing. If you agree with them on one thing,
conformance.
Yeah, and disagree.
That's what these big cities have made us.
Yeah.
This is the problem, okay? When people start attacking me on social media, it's like, you Trumper. I'm like, first of all, I'm a libertarian, okay? I'm pro-choice. So that'll shut you up right there. Oh, you can't be pro-choice. You're a Trumper. How does that equate to being a Trumper if I'm a libertarian?
Well, they're just using that because they have no real talking points.
Of course they don't.
So they use buzzwords that they don't want to be called. Like, you're a Trumper. I don't care. Hey, conspiracy theorists, say my name. Say my name.
Exactly.
Right.
I don't care. Like, I literally go, man, what do I want to call my podcast? I remember thinking about NWA and like, why did they? Now I know NWA was a psyop and it was used by the CIA to spread gangster rap. But at the time, I was like, why did they pick the name? Because they want to own that word.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, what is a word that I can own?
Yeah, you own
Or
it.
a term. I go, tinfoil hat. And I looked and I didn't see any tinfoil hats at the time. And I was like, you know what? Okay, let's fucking do it. And I started a podcast and it blew up. And so it's like, so I don't care about names you call me. My whole thing is like, again, I was saying this earlier, I am all about putting a mirror up to people.
Yeah.
About how sure are you to these things. I feel like I cut you off all the time.
No, it's all right. Go ahead. No. Sam, go ahead. I'm just reading some of the comments and seeing what they're saying.
Thing about this black ventriloquist with a black Muppet talking about you can't save these hoes. Jesus can't even save these hoes. Why do you think you could save these hoes? You think you're better than Jesus? And the puppet drops an N-bomb. So that I did that one of those like
the remixes. I like those now.
I love those, dude.
It's hilarious.
So I put that out, and I want to see how many people complain that the puppet says the M word. I go, well, it's not. This video is already out there. I'm just reacting to it, and I'm not saying the word. Are you upset about that? Why are you upset about that? Why are you okay with that? What is going on? What is I call it oppression math.
That's right. Yeah.
I have a joke about oppression math. At the highest level of the oppression pyramid is a fat black gay midget. Okay. A fat black gay midget can just rip everybody and anybody and and the joke is that Kevin Hart is 2 out of the 3 of those, 4 of those, and look how big he is.
Your boy's asking a question, the swarm guy, Archulge. Do you think anything will happen with Tucker reporting on CIA killing JFK? Tucker reported that?
Yeah, he did. The question is, does America care?
Yeah.
And we know this for years.
It's a good question.
Okay, the American people don't care about this. They want to move on from that. They already know. Even if the government's not going to formally acknowledge this, we already knew this. The CIA and Santo Traficante and the mob killed JFK in Texas.
And Israel. Because JFK wanted to look into their nuclear bomb program, which, by the way, proved to me nuclear bombs are real.
Yeah. And what happened afterwards? Why was JFK killed in addition to Israel? He did not want to start the war in Vietnam. And what happens the day after he dies? Lyndon B. Johnson is sworn in. Troops in Saigon, baby.
Yeah. Lyndon B. Johnson was owner in a military-industrial complex. If you study, everyone's like, oh, you false flags, they don't exist. Watch The Fog of War.
Yeah.
With McNamara, and have him talk about how he basically realizes, and he acts like he's so surprised that the Gulf of Tonkin never happened. So, turns out it didn't really happen. Isn't that crazy? Hey, you gonna drink that fucking Coke? So
United States has had, as much as I know, 3 false flags.
It's got to be more than that.
There's so many.
So much more than that.
In the 20th century, 3 false flags that have started major wars. And one of them actually got us into a major war. So how do people not believe that the government can actually attack its own people for an agenda? I don't understand that.
There's some guy, I don't know how he got this number, but they basically said only 20% of the population can even comprehend what the government does. And you
That's-
just can't fix them. And it's like if you don't, it's like the Prophet Eddie Bravo says now, if you don't get it by now, you're never going to get it. I can't help you and I can't save you. And you're not supposed to save people. And this is what I'm getting into. If you really want to stop the New World Order, the answer to the New World Order is local, inside yourself. Christ consciousness. Work on yourself, change other people, okay?
Yeah.
By putting out the content I do, other people start to think, okay, I can say this stuff and I can do this stuff, and the walls aren't bleeding, okay? And what the internet did at first was took our eyes off of local. We started following we started reading USA Today on the internet or whatever.
Sure.
We only started paying attention to Washington D.C. And reality is that governors have more power
Where
than
we're
the
living,
president.
exactly, yeah.
And then our school boards, we stopped paying attention to it because we stopped reading our local newspapers.
that's right.
And we didn't know that they were installing cultural Marxists in there trying to destroy us from within because they all go to the same schools and they're all rich kids who hate their dads. That's what this is all. Dude, the whole Antifa, all that shit, the left, it's all I hate my father.
Yeah.
It's funny you would mention local politics and everything like that. We have a question about that. Edgar's asking,
Where are all the homeless people in Glendale?
something like that. Yeah, he was saying there's no way the elections in Glendale were clean. Meaning even the local elections were fixed. And Basil and I were talking about that earlier as well. Well, not today, but a few days ago about what happened with Caruso and Bass.
Oh, it's horseshit.
Yeah.
The whole fact of mail-in ballots, okay, delegitimizes elections, fair elections. I'm sorry, but I'm old enough to remember one-night elections. At 11 o'clock, you had a winner.
I mean, dude,
Florida
people are
did that.
idiots.
Florida did that. In one day, they did all their fucking elections.
Yeah.
Because why? They did paper ballots.
100%.
Okay? Give me a break.
Yeah, Florida can do it. Why can't we? Yeah.
If you don't win election night, don't worry. You can go canvass for your fucking votes for another 2 fucking
4
weeks.
families
Yeah.
Exactly.
ran California
Exactly.
for
4 families. Yep.
Pelosi's, the Gettys, the Browns,
Shit.
and the Pelosi's, the Gettys, the Browns, and the
It's got to be the shifts. As far
one more.
I think it's the shifts.
No. Gettys, Browns, and there's one more. There's 4 of them. They've been running California for 100 years.
Jules wants to make sure that you mention Tartarian at least once before you leave. Whatever that means.
So, if you guys listened to me earlier, I talked about how Alexander went into that city in Lebanon, and the king of that city, or the leader of that city, and married a woman who was into Moloch worshiping.
Okay.
And she wanted Moloch to be like resurrected. Do you guys know that the first movie ever shown and I got this from this White Lotus of Power guy. You guys got to watch that video. The first movie ever shown at the White House was a movie about Moloch.
No, I've no
And
idea.
guess who? Who's the worst president of all time?
Jimmy Carter.
Well, no. Woodrow Wilson.
Okay.
Did you ever hear the
Wasn't William Howard Taft?
No, dude. Woodrow Wilson gave us the Federal Reserve and personal income tax on Christmas Eve when nobody voted on it.
Right.
Off an island in North Carolina.
Jekyll
Island,
You ever
was it?
hear the funny conspiracy that Jimmy Carter is actually JFK?
Never heard that one. No.
They kind of look alike.
Yeah, they kind of do.
Kind of look alike.
So
You think JFK looks like Jimmy Carter?
Oh yeah, kind of take a look at them with a little plastic.
I think
surgery.
Jimmy Carter looks like Gary Shandling.
Never seen them in the same place.
Exactly.
So this Alexander II goes into this city and goes after these Baal worshippers, these Moloch worshippers, Malachians or something they're called. And
Malakas.
No, it's literally called.
They're going.
It's like Molochans or something like that. And that's where the war starts. And so I believe this is all about them trying to hide that there was a giant empire called Tartaria. And Khazarians went to war with Tartarians and they won. And the whole story of slavery in America is a complete and utter bullshit. It's not saying that slavery didn't happen, but the story of how it happened, like, isn't like reparations is the most hilariously stupid thing, because where do you go? All the way back to Africans selling Africans, but so many of the slaves, and this is why, like, I wish black people would just give me a chance and listen to me. Your culture, all culture is the enemy of nature, and your true history is so powerful. Most of the blacks in America are descendants of the Moors. The Moor shipping empire. They were shipped. They were explorers, man. You go back and you study Florida, it's all Moors, man.
Yeah. No, I believe the answer is moose.
The moose.
The moose. The moose?
Seinfeld reference.
Oh, yeah.
Seinfeld reference.
Episode.
But dude, that's it, bro. I mean, like, so Tartaria is real, man. All this. Have you ever studied the world fairs? Have you ever studied that?
No,
oh, you got to see that.
No, I haven't.
I would love to hear this.
So in the 1800s, man.
Yeah.
And the early 1900s.
The world fairs that were happening back then. Is that what you're talking about?
Like what they were.
From what I know, they're just world fairs. But go ahead.
Pictures. They were like Vaticans, man, all over the country.
Wow.
And they said they built them in 2 years.
Wow.
But you go to architects, you go, how long would it take you? They go, just to design this, 15 years.
Okay.
So these were the belief is that these were Tartarian buildings that they fucking destroyed so nobody would know they existed.
Interesting.
Okay. All right.
What happens is when you go into these smaller cities, there's still these buildings.
Yeah.
Like you'll go in these little shithole towns and there'll be like all these shitty buildings. And then their city hall is this gorgeous architecture. You're like, how'd that happen? Tartaria, bro. When you see old buildings with like kind of like I don't know, like an arc in like in the windows, that tends to be Tartarian. And you'll also see that a lot of them have this weird thing where like they'll have a window, but there'll be like dirt halfway over the window. And a lot of people that think that's from the mud floods.
Okay. That's crazy. I mean,
it's crazy. When you start studying Tartaria, you're like, what the fuck? Giants?
Yeah.
How about the fact that they think Redskins weren't indigenous, but they were actually white Vikings that were so white they had this suntan lotion that fucking was red, bro? Crazy, dude. Crazy. I talk too much.
We've gotten into some rabbit hole.
This is reminding me of like Comedy Store Kitchen talk. Is like awesome after shows.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're a comedian.
Yeah, I tried before COVID. I gave up. Can't handle it, dude.
Oh, you're doing this. This blows up. Then you'll be able to go back and do it.
There you go. People get pissed off when I talk. I don't know.
That's another. Are you during your shows? Well, not your shows, basically. You don't have shows right now.
That's true.
Sam, during your shows, I'm assuming at this point you don't get hecklers, but do you? Yeah. How do you handle that?
Well, it's a whole graveyard of hecklers in the back of the Comedy Store that I've been murdering for decades.
Good.
Sam is one of the best riffers you will ever see on stage live. He will destroy.
I mean, with this woke culture, he may, I'm assuming there will be times when you'll say a joke and that is, you got this person ready to be offended.
Here's the thing about heck.
Just sitting there waiting. Oh, okay, cool. I got him. You can't say that or whatever.
Yeah. And I just light them the fuck up. Because people pay hard money to see professionals,
right,
and not hear some fucking snowflake thinking that they're the show. But here's the whole thing, man. I always look at hecklers, and you'll appreciate this. Hecklers are day one open micers.
They are.
So they don't know what the fuck they're doing, and I've been doing this since '94. I'm dead on the inside. You're not gonna say anything that upsets me, and I'm gonna steal your fucking soul because I'm tired of my act. And I'd like to take a break and make somebody cry. It makes me feel good, gets my dick hard.
Good. Well, there's the answer to that question.
No filter. I think the future, and you guys will learn this through this show, is authenticity.
Well, I mean, that's us. I mean, we're as transparent as can be. What they see during the podcast is how we are off the podcast.
This guy knew me from when I first moved to LA.
Yeah.
And dude, how the Armenian community was not down with me. I don't know if they were first generation, but now that like younger generations come, they're totally like a lot more open-minded to me. But it's like, dude, they used to hate me, bro. And because I was just like, because I'm half Armenian.
Right.
But I was like, my family was more Eastern European.
Sure. Yeah.
Armenian. So like all my aunts and uncles were white.
Yeah.
They were white. So I moved to LA thinking I was white.
Yeah.
And then you come here, you find out, oh, you're Armenian, which is Caucasian.
Which is actually that's what I was going to say. We're Caucasian. We're from the Caucasus region.
Yeah.
So
I always tell people I'm Armenian, Italian, and Sicilian, which means I'm Armenians in Asia, which means I'm half Asian. And then I have Sicilian, which is a quarter of me is Sicilian, which means half of that, which is 12%, is African.
Yeah.
So I'm Asian and African. I'm Blasian, bro. I'm fucking Blasian, dude.
Play the rule by their game.
Yeah.
Play the game by their rules. And that's it.
yeah, check off all the boxes. There you go. But now you do get Armenian crowds, right? I mean,
So I want to talk about.
oh, thanks for cutting me off.
Oh shit.
Sam, because like you said, that's okay. Hey, you're the guest. You can cut me off. This guy, not so much. No, just to piggyback off what you said, they weren't down with you in the beginning. They didn't understand you, or they didn't get the jokes, or I don't know what it was. But now they do get the jokes, right? Now you are drawing the Armenian crowds, aren't you not?
I get some Armenians.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie to you, they love my tinfoil hat show.
Okay, good.
Not gonna say like I actually do jokes because I was in Fresno and there's tons of Armenians there. I'm like, how many Armos here? Like 2 people clap. I'm like, there's 2 Mexicans on the show packed with Mexicans. We got 2 Armenians showing up in Fresno. I'm like, what else do you guys got to fucking do? But it's interesting, man. It's like I'm going to be honest with you, man. I've had a lot of comedians. There's been moments with the Armenian community where they get super sensitive about things said about Armenians.
Sure.
And it's a lot of time. Sometimes it's young people. A lot of times it's the older people who get passed around. And like, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but like sarcasm is a very Western thing. And sometimes not all people get sarcasm. Yeah. They don't understand, like, you're making a joke about it by acting like you're serious about it.
Again, it's cultural Marxism. It's conditioning. People get conditioned.
So Kurt Metzger got in shit because he's...
I was going to ask you about this. Yeah. He there was a joke that said during a podcast by Metzger, or was it a joke? What did he say?
But he was making fun of Sink's fat ass on the Young Turks about calling his show the Young Turks.
Okay.
Because people didn't get sarcasm, they thought he was being literal in what he was saying, and it was so obvious. That it was. So I had to go do his show. Not that my name moves anything in Glendale, but. Right. I had to explain. It's like, dude, I have a 1915 tattoo right here. I have an LA in the Armenian flag colors on my thing here, right?
Right.
So, like, I love being Armenian, man, but you misunderstood his joke.
But
he was making fun of that fat fuck. By highlighting that he ignores what the name of his show means.
Exactly.
So that's why. And then later on, Jeff Dye got in trouble.
Is that the guy that said it was a good thing that Armenians got? Because one of the jokes, was it Metzger or Jeff Dye?
Talking about 2-3 years ago, right?
Jeff Dye just happened, right. And this was whole thing during the Azerbaijan thing. Yeah. They were like, give to Armenia. And he's like, dude, these people who are richer than me are asking me to give money. And like people do.
That's funny.
It's funny.
Okay, that's funny.
It's funny. Like I'm saying, it's like, dude, you're richer than I am. Why am I giving you $5? It's sarcasm, man.
No. But I think Metzger's thing, I remember because I actually posted about that.
Trust me, dude. I know what
he said. I don't think it was a bad thing. Those were his exact words. When someone was talking about,
will you look it up, because I'm 99% sure he was making fun.
He didn't say anything about Chink. I would have known.
No, but he's making fun of the term Young Turks.
I think that's a different. That was a different time.
The time I went out was about him referencing how ridiculous that there's this news agency is allowed to have Young Turks on it.
Right.
That's what I have.
What's even more embarrassing is they have an Armenian reporter on that show.
She's freaking
So during the I believe it was the 100th anniversary, I had Armenians on, and we were discussing it, and we put the episode out, and I was amazed at how many Armenians didn't know about the Young Turks, and I was like, how do you not know that?
Yeah, he did say that. That's why Armenians got in an uproar.
Oh, listen to the actual, because this is the thing that I listen to.
It was a good thing.
Can we play it?
Yeah, I can play it. Give me a second. Hold on one second. All right, I'll put it in.
April 24th was the commemoration of the Armenian genocide, so it's been on my mind.
Are you Armenian?
No, I just am a denier of the Armenian genocide.
Okay, do you understand why that's ridiculous?
I'm just a well-known denier of Armenian genocide.
I'm just not sure. I could be talked into it.
I didn't say it happened, but it was a good thing. Am I in the minority here?
Listen, the Armenians are bad hikers.
Yeah, I'm just a huge Young Turks fan.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
I get it, but you see,
the Young Turks.
I get that part, but the first joke was, you see, he wasn't clear enough, and that the first reply that he had is honestly, it's not a good joke.
I will get. Listen, I totally understand, and I could feel the sensitivity of it, and I'm not. I just know Kurt Metzger.
Sure.
And he's on Jimmy Dore. He's like a progressive guy.
Yeah, I
and he doesn't like Young Turks.
Yeah,
he doesn't like the young. So I understand where you're coming from. I listened to that, and I felt he was making fun of the fat fuck on the Young Turks. That's my belief, and that's why I defended him on that. I know two of those guys.
Sure.
And this gets into why is there a protected certain class, right?
Sure.
And that's done on purpose. Because if it really was about how many people the Nazis killed, we would be defending Russians right now. Of course. But if you go to the list of genocides on Wikipedia, number 2, because they conveniently decide to delete, not include King Leopold, who went through Africa and killed 50 million Africans. Oh, he didn't qualify for the list. Yeah. So the number 1 is the Jewish Holocaust, okay? And then number 2 is the Russian Holocaust to the Nazis, 3 to 4 mil. On top of that is 16 mil that died trying to stop them. If that was really what it was about, we wouldn't allow them to be disrespecting Russians in the news.
100%. True, but if Metzger had said it was a good thing that the Holocaust had happened, he'd be done. He'd be done.
100%.
So
great comics that have made dumb jokes like that, like Bill Hicks and stuff like that. So
here's my going to hit the target, dude. Not
100%. And what I will always say, I hate pedophile jokes. I hate that because those children are defenseless.
Yeah.
But I will have to defend those jokes because I can't pick and choose where to apply. And I'm not trying to but I'm just telling you why I have to defend things I don't agree with because I can't I'm
not saying you didn't have the right to say it.
Yeah.
I never said that. Okay, I'm just saying.
Sam and I come from a different school of comedy.
Basil, he has the right to say whatever he wants. It's First Amendment. That's exactly where I'm going with it. We have the right to be upset about it because it's a sensitive issue, and it's to us it's the most sensitive issue.
It should be.
And in the way that he came across, he may have meant it in the way that, he's trying to satirize Cenk or the Young Turks, but he didn't lead with that. Had he led with that, context matters. It would have been completely different. So,
I understand.
so
I understand. And I can understand why you're being upset about that. And again, I respect what you're saying.
Yeah,
And
other than that,
So
we can move on.
no, it's totally cool. So that's where we get into where it's like, it's just
And I'm with you. I watch Metzger on Door all the time, so I have no issue with the guy. It's just that was a bad joke, and timing wasn't right. So
yeah, for sure. So that's cool, and it is what it is, and I love Metzger, and I love you, and it's all good. So
all good.
This is where it is, and this is it, and it's like, there wasn't a time where people didn't get mad at jokes. They've always gotten mad at jokes. The problem is like now people are ruining people's lives, over things like interpretations of jokes.
The game's changed, man. The game's changed.
But it's changing again.
I hope
because
so.
Saturday Night Live, I have a friend of mine on Saturday Night Live, and she's so fucking funny. And Melissa isn't anymore, but Punky Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
Punky Johnson was almost impossible to follow on stage when she was just trying to learn stand-up comedy.
You're telling me Saturday Night Live is funny again?
No, what I'm saying is I would like it to go on forever so that my friends can
Sure. Yeah.
definitely. Punky is super talented, and I love her, but, it's like that show has no, and they're already talking about getting rid of it because it has no market share.
Right.
Because
nobody watches it anymore.
Yeah, because they
gone too
stopped
low.
being punk rock.
Yeah.
And they started being conformist. And that's what and you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I'm happy they're all conformists because now I have a place.
Sure, yeah,
Nobody
people
wants to hear an old guy being a dick if all the young people are being dicks too. You'd rather look at the more fuckable person. But now that they don't do it, I can sit up here and and get all the people who are like tired of hearing about that shit. I try to be a lighthouse in a sea of shit. That's what I try to do.
Yeah, and you definitely stand out from the crowd. So
Life was the best. We all week to watch it. What are they going to do? Who are they going to make fun of? Now it's just crap. Yeah, it's just 4 years of Trump bashing, which is fine. I love presidential satire. Don't get me wrong. And I've always told this to Harry. Even though Alec Baldwin is a freaking murdering bastard, okay, I loved his impression of Trump. I think it was spot on. As an entertainer, the guy's got talent. No question. He does a lot of impressions, but his Trump was spot on.
Isn't it crazy that his two brothers are super conservative?
No, Billy Baldwin's not.
no, his other
Daniel
and Stephen.
Billy's the little mouthpiece on Twitter, dude. He just can't shut up about it.
Yeah. Billy and him are like all the way to the left, and Daniel and Stephen
crazy.
are all the way to the right.
So crazy. Yeah, I'm like nobody cares if you make fun of Trump. Just you gotta make fun of everybody, and to only make fun of one side, people are like, okay, I'm over it. It's like stupid.
That's the rule of comedy. Make fun of yourself first. And
Same
make
with,
fun of everybody.
same with Kimmel, man. He's just.
It's like
He was so funny before, and now I can't even watch the guy anymore. He's at a point where he's predictable. That's the one thing you don't want to be as a comic, dude. You don't want to be predictable. You don't want if I turn on Kimmel, I know what jokes are going to be said. He's gonna make fun of Trump 100%. He's gonna make fun of Trump followers.
I just don't understand when that became cool. I don't like Hollywood, and this gets into this cultural Marxism thing.
Yeah.
Once the Clintons deregulated the media and allowed a small group of powerful companies to buy everything, they could just have them do whatever they want to do because they're going to get bailed out by the Fed.
Yeah.
Okay. So they just ran all this stuff into the ground because the only stuff that really matters. Dude, they would torpedo. If they needed to Nike. If they needed to. Because the only thing that matters is gods, gold, oil, drugs, and slavery. That's the only thing that matters, dude. Those are the billions, if not trillion-dollar industries. And if you don't think there's trillionaires, you're crazy. If you don't think if you think they're just going to allow people like Jay-Z and LeBron James and to become billionaires on their level, you're nuts. There are trillionaires out there, and Elon Musk isn't even close to the richest man in the world. That's just the one they want you to think, him, Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos is the grandson of the man who invented DARPA, the DARPA part of the Pentagon. He invented it. Jeff Bezos isn't an innovator. Oh, yeah, he just sat in his garage and he just worked so fucking hard. He figured out a way to make books sell quicker. And like, no, dude, he took his grandpa's little program and used books because he understood nobody cared about books. Right. So he could fucking work it out with that. And then once he got all the kinks out, bam, then he went to everything else.
Dude. No one reads in this damn country. So how the hell did this guy have Amazon become such a success?
He's on the verge of bankruptcy in 2001 and 2.
That's what they want you to think. That's all the story. Why do you think Amazon doesn't pay taxes? Why would the U.S. government pay taxes to itself? It's this government.
Technically, they don't. They pass the buck to us.
Crazy.
Well, why won't the U.S. government print their own goddamn money? Why won't any sovereign nation print their own money? That's the other big question.
Russia is.
Yeah, Russia is.
China's trying, but they're fucked, bro.
Basil, is there anything that you wanted to talk about?
Did I talk the most anybody ever on the show?
Should.
We've covered pretty much everything. I mean, there's so much more. Bluebeam we could talk about, which is the next psyop. I think that's going to happen.
It's all spiritual, man.
Yeah.
Get with God and work on yourself. So family, you'll be fine.
This is actually a awesome conspiracy theory that I've actually invested a lot of time in, but a lot of my friends always laugh at me. HARP, the ability to manipulate weather around the world. And earthquakes are cause of this, tsunamis are cause of this. Yeah. And this is like G.I. Joe Cobra shit back in the
thing. A lot of people think COVID had to do with them spraying chemicals in the air and the 5G.
Yeah, and the 5G.
That's so funny. I was just driving back from Vegas yesterday, and the chemtrails that I saw blew my mind, dude.
They spray all over the place, dude.
I mean, all the way from Vegas to here, the entire way there were chemtrails everywhere. I'm like,
how about those fires that burnt houses down but left trees?
Here's the other conspiracy theory nobody's talking about. Why are these slaughterhouses? Why are these chicken coops all over the country? Factories? Why are cows dying? Why is our food supply dying?
The food supply.
That's right. You control the food supply.
You control your own food. You should build a garden.
I know. I should. Why is Bill Gates buying the fucking farmland in this country?
Because you control the food, you control people.
Exactly.
But you also got to know something, dude. So much of this is just them trying to jack your loosh. We live in a haunted house. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Some parts are more haunted than others. And the whole thing is these energy vampires feed off our anxiety.
Yeah. That's exactly.
And that's why they've moved us into these big cities, made us think that because there's a lot of people there, that climate change is real, okay, that there's too many people, okay, that there's not enough water, there's not enough food, there's not enough any of that, and it's all bullshit. Yes. It's all abundance. There's more than enough. You just got to get out of the big city or live on the fringes and go in when you want your FOMO and then get out when you because when shit's the fan. And I don't know if they keep telling us shit's going to hit the fan. That's all they keep telling us.
So here's another interesting conspiracy theory, but it's not really a conspiracy theory because the Department of Defense has actually simulated for this a zombie attack. A zombie attack caused by a virus. And the plan is it should scare anybody that lives in a city. Because if you live in a city when a zombie outbreak breaks, you have zero chance to fucking survive. Okay?
Let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Can you name the study where they isolated the COVID, the
jelly bean?
The jelly bean. No, this is we'll call it The candy bar, where they isolated the candy bar. Do you know the COVID virus?
I don't.
Yeah, it never happened. Do you know, can you name me the study where they isolated the HIV virus?
No.
Nope, because it never happened. It never happened.
So here's my take on this. My fear, actually. The government is creating these viruses. You
Prove to me.
cannot-
Listen,
You cannot fuck with Mother Nature. Okay?
bro.
If
Bro.
one of these things turn people into the Walking Dead, we're all fucked. It's
I'm
game
going to
over.
leave you guys with this. Look up terrain theory versus germ theory.
There you go, guys.
Look it up. Realize everything's been a lie. I'm sorry I talk so much.
If you didn't, we wouldn't have you on the show. So we're glad you do. So we thank you for coming tonight, Sam. We appreciate it.
Where are the homeless people in Glendale?
In Eagle Rock, Pasadena, and Hollywood.
What do you guys put them on buses?
Sam, anything to promote?
Just go to samtripoli.com and I have everything there. Go to Rockfin for all my premium content. And if you want to see my specials, they're on samtripoli.com. And my YouTube is youtube.com/samtripoli. Please subscribe because they just shadow banned me.
Yep.
And subscribe to us. If you're here, you're probably subscribed. But if you're not, please do so. Also follow us on Instagram. And we'll have another show next month with another guest. And we'll be keeping you guys abreast of the situation and the guests and all the good things that we have planned.
And much love to the Swarm for tuning in tonight. Thank you so much. Thank you, Sam.
Thanks, Sam. Thanks again, Sam. Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy New Year.
Christmas.
And we'll see you next year.